week, we're going to talk about another mistake I made. If you followed this podcast at all, you know that I really try to share the things that I make mistakes on, so you hopefully don't make those same mistakes. Well, we had a bit of a big one, and that had to do with this very podcast. What happened was we were so far ahead. I mean, we were killing it because open enrollment was happening. And so we needed to get as many episodes as possible recorded. And we did just that. But what happened was that eventually those episodes ran out. Now, I know what you're saying to yourself, Jill, how did you not know that? You're so organized. You should have kept better tabs on that. And believe me, I know. It was a moment of reckoning for me that I won't soon forget because I realized, oh my gosh, we have no guest episodes coming up. I'm actually in a completely different state, renovating a house. What in the world am I going to do? And I want to share these mistakes with you so that way you can learn of how I fix them. So let's dive into how I fixed this problem. What I realized was that there was a breakdown in communication between myself and my team because of all of our different pieces that are moving. Nobody caught the mistake. Nobody realized that there wasn't an episode going up. So that obviously needed to be fixed right away. There needed to be more checks and balances in place. So if this ever happened again, which hopefully it never does because we fixed it, there would be many opportunities for someone on the team or myself to catch it and say, hey, wait a second, something's wrong. We need to get this fixed right away. So in order to set up those checks and balances, we had to start back at square one. Now, if you've ever started a big project like a podcast or any big thing, you realize that there's lots of parts that you've left out as you go through the process. And there's really no way to do that except to just do it. I know a lot of people say if you ever want to start YouTube, you just have to start and figure it out. That's true with so many different big projects that you can work on. Same thing with the podcast. So what we did was we sat down and we went through step by step. So we started off with some sticky notes and a whiteboard, kind of mapping out the process. So exactly what do we need to do every step of the way? And that's where we discovered where the checks and balances were because we realized, okay, here's an opportunity for myself or the team member to say, hey, listen, this isn't done yet. I have to take it over and I have to do this part. So I've got to check with so-and-so and find out why isn't this done yet? So by mapping that out, we then created a Google Doc and I filled in as best I could everybody's parts. And because I love stationery and rainbow is my favorite color, I went through the Google Doc and created a highlighted color for each single person because a lot of these steps overlap. So sometimes people are doing something very similar to the next person that the task is being passed on to. So I created it in different highlighted colors. Mine was rainbow, of course. And that sheet kind of became the living, breathing document for this process. So what I did was I did the best I could with it. I created what I thought every single person did, but then I asked each person of my team member throughout the process to fill in their blocks in 30-minute increments. So if there was something that took an hour, that was a couple more blocks of time. Make sure that you edit that in there. Now, not only does this help so that we don't drop the ball again, but more importantly, if someone needs to go on vacation, then the rest of us know where we need to step in and make sure that everything is getting done while that person enjoys their vacation and doesn't have to work or get bombarded with questions about where's this at? I need this. What the heck? How do I do this? Creating this process has really increased the flow and made everything so much easier for the team to keep things on track. You could do the same process for any big project that you have, mapping it out, then asking team members to fill in the blocks. Then what we did was we created a flow chart of saying, okay, the episode starts here, it bounces through these couple stages, then it comes around to me for approval, then it continues to bounce down the stages. And every single person knows what time frame they have to get that task completed. So let's say if they need to get a task completed by Wednesday, but they don't have the file and it's Tuesday, there's an issue. they need to reach out to that person before them. And of course, they can see who that person is because we created a flow chart. They can reach out to that person and say, hey, I need this episode. Where is it? Are you almost done with it? Because I've got to get my part done by this Wednesday deadline. It has made things so much easier. Now, because this is a brand new process for us, of course, we're going to go back through and we're going to tweak it, test it, make sure that it works, and we'll continue to add to it. But this was an unfortunate situation that happened. I'm happy to report we're back on track. And in my opinion, I think we're better for it because we learned from our mistakes and we made these adjustments. And if you're interested, I can do another podcast, maybe a couple weeks from now, maybe a month or so from now, telling you where we're at in this process and how it's going and any additional tweaks that we had. So if that's something that you're interested in, make sure you comment down below if you're watching this video on YouTube, or shoot me a message over on Instagram and say, yes, I definitely want to see more about that.